Welcome to the MEGJC Matrix, the program where we explore the impactful work of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation and its agencies. In today's episode, we're focusing on the strides made in the water sector. Guided by the National Water Sector Policy and Implementation Plan 2019, the Ministry and its agencies remain committed to sustainable water management, conservation, and infrastructure development. Through public education and capital projects, we are ensuring that water security remains a priority. Joining us today are three experts to share insights into their agency's achievements and upcoming projects. We have with us Delano Williams, Acting Corporate Public Relations Manager at the National Water Commission, Geoffrey Marshall, Deputy Managing Director at the WRA, Hana Samuels, Engineering Manager at Rural Water Supply Limited. So, let's dive in. Hello, my friends.
Hello.
You guys all right?
Yes, ma'am.
We're talking water today. This is what you talk about every day, right? Every day. So you have the information ready. And we know that people have been asking questions. What's happening in the water sector? So we're going to be sharing with them today. So I think we should start with WRA, right? Because that's where the source is, the source of the water. So, Geoffrey, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Jenny.
Hey, good. All right. So talk to us now about the role and mandate of the WRA.
The Water Resources Authority is mandated to manage, allocate, conserve, and otherwise protect Jamaica's water resources as dictated by the Water Resources Act of 1995. So our vision, I should say, is water security for all Jamaicans. And so in that vein, we have our technical branch, which deals with monitoring water resources because you can't manage what you're not measuring. So our Hydromet network covers our stream gauge stations, which monitor stream flow in rivers, and index wells, which monitor groundwater levels across the island. We have our allocations system, license allocations, where we provide allocation licenses for abstraction, permits for drilling wells, and controls on that form of abstraction through that process. We also monitor water quality with our water quality branch that has just begun operating. And we also do research and investigation, so special research going for our master plan where we inventorize all of Jamaica's water resources and provide updates as to how this may change over the future and how much water is available for usage. All of this contributes to our vision of ensuring water security for all Jamaicans.
Wow, that's a lot. The WRA is really doing a lot.
Yes, we are.
So without the WRA, we really can't get the quality water that we need to get.
Without the WRA, you would have water usage that may not be sustainable because you have conflicts over water to say, these people want water, domestic water is needed, irrigation water is needed, industrial water is needed, but you have to manage now, mediate and allocate to make sure that all needs are met sustainably and that the water resource is not overused or otherwise degraded.
Okay, all right, let's talk now about the Hydromet network. How is WRA managing this?
The Hydromet network, as I said, is how we measure the available water resources on a routine basis. So we have stream flow networks on major rivers across the island, such as on the Rio Cobre, the Black River, Wag Water River, Rio Bueno, and the big river you can think of, we have that network available. And we measure the stream flow on these rivers by our network, by our stations. So basically, you measure the gauge height, or the height of the river, and that height is correlated to the discharge of the river. So in olden days, we used to have manual observations where persons would go and observers would read the gauge height twice per day. And it's still important to have that as a backup. In modern times, we try to use real-time monitoring where we have radar sensors on the stations. We have steelhead transmitters that can transmit the data to our real-time monitoring network so we can go online and see the storage, see in the cloud what the real-time stage of the rivers are. And correlating that stage height to stream flow, we have that record of stream flow daily across the island for these stations. It's our goal to upgrade as many of these as possible to real-time networks. But as it is, some are real-time, some are continuous where we have to go out and log. Some are observer only where we still have the books for people to write down. And then unfortunately, some are spot measurements where we just go out once per month to measure, but we don't have the continuous station there. Over time, we're looking forward to increasing all of these to real time so we'll have more accurate data on water resources for stream flow, as well as groundwater where we take monthly measurements of groundwater levels to see the track over time. And then where we see those going up and down in dry season, we can be able to evaluate how much water is available and what the recharge rates are for the groundwater in these regions.
Okay, wonderful. I know that there are some sources that the WRA may be keeping track of based on the supply or the demand for water. I know that you have the Pinders River and Milk River, some gauges that are at the Pinders River and the Rock River. How is that going? How is the monitoring going for those?
Those were upgraded this year from spot measurement to real time, because those are important flows going into the Rio Minho, I should say. And so those upgrades have helped us to keep track of those inflows that are coming, because the Milk River, as you may know, is important. It also sinks a lot if it sinks above 7s in Maypen, but it also comes out down in Alley. So we're looking at maintaining that the information on those flows there, and that's why we put the stations at Pindars and Rock River, because if you look at those flows coming in, they're able to estimate more what the flow is in the river in that region. So that was a gap in our network that we're now covering. And it's the same flow, same reason across wherever we monitor. The information that is there to keep the river information relevant, the stream flows, that we can ensure that we're knowing what's happening if that river is going to be used for any form of abstraction purpose in the future.
All right, I'm going to come back to you, Geoffrey, but I'm just going to jump over to Delano with NWC. Talk to us about the relationship between the NWC and the WRA.
Well, thank you, Dini, for having us. And it's interesting that he's mentioned some sources such as the Pindars River and the Milk River, because those are also highly significant service areas for us in Clarendon. And it underlines the reliance that we have on the work of the Water Resources Authority. Every source that we strive to extract water from, whether it's a river source, a spring, or the over 100 underground wells, which are obviously underground, we rely on their guidance to tell the NWC how much water is available and how much of that available water we can extract. So it's an ongoing process, very much from the time of their inception. We've also been working with them, and we take their guidance on how much water is available, not just in the existing locations of our over 400 sources, but also in the new locations that we need to look at in order to expand our network.
All right, wonderful. No, we know that everything that happens in the water sector is guided by the National Water Sector Policy and Implementation Plan. And the role of that, or the goal of that plan, is to increase access to potable water. What has been the NWC's role in ensuring that we're increasing access to potable water to those persons who maybe last year, 2023, did not have, 2024, we're now in 2025,
Right.
did not have access to potable water? What are some of the major projects that you guys work on?
So we've done a number of projects island-wide. Just by account of the last 12 months of 2024, really, we have done in excess of 12 major projects that have brought an additional 30,000 customers onto our network. We've expanded our pipeline network itself from over 11,000 into 12,000 kilometers of pipeline network. And this is significant because what it says is that we're putting more pipes into places that never had running water before, access to potable water. We have drilled 2 new wells. As we speak, we are in the final stages of a well in Brownstone, which, Minard, as many persons know it, which will serve the Brownstone community. And that area is a significant one that relies on water coming from a source that is over 700 feet below ground. So that's the kind of work that we do. But it is an ongoing one. As I said, each year we expect to move closer to the target of 85%, which is the Vision 2030 target for coverage. We work with our partners, the Rural Water Supply Limited, both in terms of sharing resources such as pipeline or their technical services to carry out the installation of these pipeline networks, and to build or upgrade both source infrastructure or the pumping infrastructure to deliver water to customers across Jamaica.
Wonderful. No, Delano, I know people like to hear money,
Yes.
because Jamaicans want to know how much money is the government investing in improving our infrastructure to ensure that regular Jamaicans, ordinary Jamaicans like us, because we use water too every day.
Every
This is do we want to, no, we don't want to talk about that, right? So how much money is really being invested? How much money has the NWC invested in the last financial year or in this financial year that we're in 2024-2020?
So for every year, we average between 5.5 and $6 million in projects. Over the last financial year would have been no different. We are still several months away from the completion of it, but we remain on track. Albeit there sometimes events such as burial and so on would have slowed down, but there are a number of projects valued in excess, of course, of even that 5.5 billion that we expect to carry out. So we may find that even if we slow down a little bit because of those environmental factors, those natural disasters that would have impacted us, we expect to pick back up once we have clearance on the various contracts.
All right, hold us right there, Delano. We will be right back on the MEGJC Matrix. You want to know if water is coming to your parish? Stay tuned.
The National Water Commission, the Rural Water Supply Limited, and the Water Resources Authority are making access to water a reality for all. With every drop, we're changing lives, creating jobs, and opening doors to opportunities in all 14 parishes. Stay tuned as we upgrade our infrastructure and facilities to serve you better. The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, building hope, building Jamaica.
Welcome back to the MEGJC Matrix. We're speaking about the water sector. Water impacts all of us. And today you're going to be hearing a little bit more about, the work that we're doing here at the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. And maybe, you'll hear if water is coming to your parish. Wait and see. So we're going to be picking up with our conversation with Delano Williams of the National Water Commission. And Delano was just about to tell us some of the major projects that are taking place in some of the parishes where you have written to us about on social media. And I'm sure the NWC, Delano, would have gotten some of those questions too. So Delano, take us through one or two of those projects.
All right. So Stanton in St. Thomas. So we're doing significant work close to the Goodyear Oval. We've installed new pumps there. We've actually completed the drilling of a new well, but that has always been a mainstay for the Moronville area. And so we are expanding the project there. We're installing new pumps. We're also we've put in a generator as well, which is critical when you have electrical fluctuations, and extending the network into areas such as Stanton. Further east, our work at Bachelor's Hall or Apple Farm is also ongoing because people want to know that we're coming, and in fact, we are coming. We've done a tank in the Duckenfield area. And if you move along the coast, work in St. Catherine, we just commissioned a system in Orangefield, close to Linstead. We've done work in York Street. And all of this is benefiting from the new well that we would have done at this place called Jericho. So we're not going around the walls of Jericho anymore. We've actually gone into the land of Jericho.
You conquered Jericho.
Yes, and the persons are benefiting from it. Greater Mandeville is another big deal. It's a multi-billion-dollar project where we're harnessing additional water from what is an area called Pepper. And where Pepper is situated, it benefits both St. Elizabeth and also the Mandeville area. So new pumps and new infrastructure is at Pepper, at Gutters, at Spurtree, and at Kingsland. And that will tie into the system provided from Porous, which converge in the Mandeville area. So there is major work all along that coast, work in Middle Quarters, and along the North Coast. Persons in Negril would have been asking about the developments coming their way. So there's an entire set of work starting from Martha Bray into Great River and extending from Lucy. New pipelines will run into Negril. This is called the Western Resilience Program. And I don't want to leave anyone out. So we're going to get to the Northeast. which is, I spoke about Minard earlier, which is the brownstone area, but along the coast, new pipelines have now extended from Lowlands into St. Anne's Bay, connecting to our bulk system. And this place called Walter Vale, which is near the Banana Estates in St. Mary, are also set to have major work which will benefit communities such as Highgate, Robbins Bay, Islington. And obviously, I'm talking about billions of dollars now. The MEGJC project is slated to be, I think, just under $2 billion. At Walter Vale is another 300 million. And all of these mean that ultimately Jamaica will have something close to a ring network,
Right.
where water, all the major systems connect right around the island, which means if there is any shortfall on any one side of a plant, we can transfer water and be able to have the kind of water resilience and reliability that our Jamaican community and brothers deserve.
Wonderful, wonderful. No, as you were talking, I could picture it going right around. And I'm so happy that you started with St. Thomas, because in the last season 1, we spoke about St. Thomas, and you've made some promises,
Right.
and you've kept those promises. So on behalf of the people of St. Thomas, thank you to the end of it.
We did.
All right, wonderful. And then also recognize that while going around the island, those are what we maybe call utility service areas. And we have some non-utility service areas where the NWC may not have the equipment or infrastructure to go into those areas. And so you would now partner with the Rural Water Supply Limited. So, Hana, talk to us now about some of the projects that the Rural Water Supply Limited are undertaking.
All right. So for this financial year, 2024-2025, we have a few projects on hand that we have completed thus far, and near completion as well. So we have projects like the John Reed catchment tank in St. Anne, and that's a 100,000 gallon catchment tank. We have our Free Hill water supply, that's also in St. Anne, right? We have New Eden water supply located in Portland, that is close to completion. On the other side of the island, we're looking at the Bunkers Hill water supply located in Clarendon, as well as Lapland in St. James, and we have Mother Floor in Manchester. So these projects, along with other projects that we have completed, for instance, schools and other places and catchment tanks, we're looking at approximately 15,000 persons that have been impacted just by these projects alone so far. And we do also assist in their non-revenue as well. So we supply a lot of pipes sometimes for their projects, for various projects.
Right, non-revenue water. So, Delano, you'll touch on that, right? When we come back after this break, please let us know where we are with non-revenue water. Soon come back.
Okay. So non-revenue water refers to water that the NWC collects, treats, pumps in our pipes, but we never get any revenue for it. So it's either stolen or lost due to leaks. Now, we've been talking a lot about the reality of our organizations existing for a number of years, from the 1980s. Some of the pipes themselves, Danny, have also been underground for that long, which means they've become old. Some of them are quite leaky. And so partnerships like the one we have with the Rural Water Supply Limited allow us to replace these pipes to ensure that we're not losing as much due to these leak losses. What it means is that it's an ongoing process. We've done a pilot in Kingston and St. Andrew, which saw us moving from losses of over 60% to now losses in the 30 percentile range.
Okay, wonderful. I'm going to stay with you, Delano, for just a quick second, right before I come back to the WRA. Kingston,
Yes.
talk to us about some of the projects that are happening in Kingston. We don't have much time left. So the people in Kingston want to hear, when drought comes, what is going to happen? What are you doing? NWC Rural, WRA Ministry, what are you doing about the drought?
We're doing a lot. collectively, the Rio Cobra project we broke ground last year for it. That will introduce 15 million gallons of water.
And last year, you mean 2024?
Yes, last year in 2024. So 2024, we broke ground in the Rio Cobra Valley. That will provide water for Kingston and St. Andrew. We've also started rehabilitation work of a little well, just about 1 million gallons, just a little well, called Cavaliers. It's located on Morisco Road. Our Beverly Hills and so on facilities. Those all combine to ensure that we may have dry spells, this is undeniable. But what we have are responses that will help us to navigate these dry spells in the next 2 to 3 years. And that means that the drought and the level of lock-offs that we now experience will become a thing of the past.
No, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give each of you 30 seconds to look directly in whichever camera you are on and tell the people of Jamaica what it is that you'll be doing in the next financial year to ensure that they have access to potable water. So let's start with Jeff.
We intend to continue our mandate of monitoring and managing Jamaica's water resources. We look to improve our technology, improve our real-time monitoring network, improve our research, that our master plan, which was recently completed, will be updated regularly and updated accurately. And we continue to provide excellent service to all our stakeholders in water resources management.
Thank you. Hana?
Okay, so for the Rural Water Supply Limited, for this financial year 2024-2025, going into 2025-2026, we are looking to break ground in January of this year, 2025, for the Hampshire Riversdale water supply. And that system is approximately $315 million. And we're looking to implement or improve the lives of over 3,500 residents, individuals, right? And also continuing on our mandate, we are in charge of rainwater harvesting, rehabilitation of the catchment tanks. We look to impact more schools in terms of the rainwater harvesting. We look to work along with the National Water Commission in terms of the various projects that we're looking at in the future. And just to continue to close the gap on our 15% that we're in charge of.
Thank you very much. And the big RWSL.
Well, our target is to get to 85% of coverage by vision by 2030. What it means is that our capital spend on major projects such as the Rio Cobra, the Negril project, the Agwalta Vale, and the Greater Mandeville projects must continue from this 2024 to 25 year into 25-26. It also means that a number of the smaller projects that we've targeted and must come on stream and will be maintained. So we're doing two things. We're doing large projects. We're also doing medium-sized projects to make sure that the small communities also benefit from it. And we're doing something else, which is to build out our wastewater infrastructure, which means more persons connected, better soak away water quality, which means in years to come, we have access to more wells, more river sources that can ensure water security for the island of Jamaica.
Thank you so very much. So, Delano, Hana, Geoffrey, thank you so much for your service to the people of Jamaica and what you're doing, your agencies are doing to improve access to potable water. And thank you for being here with us today on the MEGJC Matrix. That's it for today's MEGJC Matrix. From the WRA's advanced monitoring systems to the NWC's expansive infrastructure projects and RWSL's focus on rural development, it's clear that Jamaica's water sector is moving toward a sustainable future. Thank you to all our guests. Thank you so much for your valuable insights, and thank you, our audience, for tuning in. Remember, water is life, and the MEGJC and its agencies are increasing water access for every Jamaican. Follow us on all our platforms at MEGJC_JM and our website, MEGJC.gov.jm. See you next time.